Hey everybody, I'm Bede, a.k.a. the Terrible Australian, the Super Podcast, and welcome to the first edition of my 2014 MIFF video reviews. Yep, it's that time of year again, guys. This is the Melbourne International Film Festival is upon us again, and this will be my third year in a row doing video reviews for the festival, which I'm covering for supermarcy.com. And this year I have 30 films on my list, which is a big step up from last year, which was 23. But I'm really looking forward to the next few weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun, and so far it's starting off pretty well. So, but which films am I checking out? Well, you just look up my article, my 2014 Melbourne International Film Festival preview article on supermarcy.com, and that'll have a list of all the films I'm going to be seeing this year, and so you can have a bit of an idea what I'll be checking out. But for this very first video, I'm going to be talking about the first two films I saw at the festival this year, which are the indie comedy drama Love is Strange and the documentary Dinosaur 13. So let's get right into it. Now, like I did last year, I got my MIFF guide right here, as you can see, and I'm just going to pretty much read out the synopsises of each of the films, because if I try to do it off memory, it's going to sound terrible. So I'm just going to start right now with Love is Strange. Nearly 4 decades, the New York couple, Bede, John Lithgow, and George, Alfred Molina, are finally able to marry. But the news of their nuptials reaches the Catholic school where George worked, and he is immediately fired. Faced with eviction, the two must move out of their apartment and into separate dwellings, an arrangement that will test the strength of their relationship. I should say beforehand that my friend and podcast co-host of Super Podcast, Super Marcy, has also seen this film as well. She has written a review for it, which you can check out at the site at supermarcy.com. Give that a read. I have to say I really love this film. I really enjoyed it a lot. It's so beautifully well handled. The film's co-writer-director Ira Sachs did a really great job with this film. What I like about it's a very low-key film, but it's full of heart, it's full of emotion, and it's also pretty funny as well. But for me, to me the two main ingredients that make this film work for me are, of course, Ira Sachs' screenplay that he co-wrote, and his beautiful direction, and as well as the performances of the cast. Everyone is fantastic. John Lithgow and Alfred Molina give wonderful performances, and their chemistry together is great. Like they're very believable as this gay couple, and their relationship together is one of the best aspects of the film. And it's also interesting to see how, when they sort of have to split up and live in different places, just how it affects them, but also the people around them. For example, John Lithgow goes to stay at his nephew's place, along with his nephew's place, and then sort of his interactions with his nephew and his nephew's wife, who's also wonderfully played by Marissa Tomei, and as well as their younger son, who's sort of going through his sort of own troubles at the moment. I can't remember the actor's name, so forgive me if I've forgotten, but he was great as well. And it's sort of like him being around there, and sort of how his nephew's family sort of deal with him, and sort of over the course they sort of start kind of getting annoyed by him. While with George, on the other hand, he sort of goes to live with this couple that they're friends with, and sort of it's like the complete opposite. He's sort of like his friends are such more outgoing, having parties all the time, having a lot of fun, and he's just much more reserved. And but like I said, it's just, you get all those aspects, and it just feels very believable, and it's just so beautifully done. Like I said, it's got a lot of heart, a lot of humor, and it's very poignant as well, and it's just beautifully done. The ending, well, I don't have too much of a problem with the ending, but I do feel like it sort of does come out of nowhere. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but it's sort of something, it sort of just comes out of nowhere. And I'm sort of wondering why that sort of happened in the film. I have a few reasons, theories why, but I don't know, and something about it sort of didn't quite work for me, even though at the same time I get what the director Iris Sachs was going for, but it didn't quite feel quite right to me for some reason. But other than that, it's a great film, a big surprise, and I have to say this is a great film to start the festival off for me, and I loved it. I thought it was really great. If I had to rate this film, I'd give it a solid 4.5. Now, on to the next film, which is Dinosaur 13. Now, what's this film about? I'll tell you all about it. Based on the book Rex Appeal, Dinosaur 13 recounts all for Peter Larson's involvement in one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in history, and the subsequent legal battle between the fossil hunters, the FBI, and the freeholders. It was a David versus Goliath style fight that began when Larson's team uncovered the world's most complete T-Rex skeleton. Only the government to crash their party with claims it was stolen from federal property, with a Native American group and a landowner whose claim with a Native American group and the landholder also claiming ownership. The paleontologist, I'm ruining this, planned to boost the local community with the Natural History Museum was under threat. Now, I really enjoy David and Goliath style stories, especially in documentary forms, and this is a good example of one. It's very compelling, and I also have a love for dinosaurs as well, so this documentary was definitely right up my alley. And it was absolutely compelling from beginning to end, and it just made me real, like just watching this documentary, you just can't believe what's happening in this documentary, especially how the FBI and the government sort of react to Peter Larson and his research team when they found this dinosaur. It's just how they went about it. They pretty much treated them like criminals, really, and it's just like the way that they were treated. It was like they were just not just criminals, but like the worst people that ever lived. And I think at one point in the documentary, from what I remember, so forgive me, basically they felt like they were treated more harshly than like some serial killer in a prison somewhere. And I have to say, watching the documentary, you can definitely sense that. It's a great documentary. I've heard some mixed things about it from a lot of other people who have seen it at, Sundance, but overall, I really dug it. I really dug it a lot. And it's just a really good and really compelling documentary. And like I said, if you love sort of David and Goliath style battles or sort of stories about injustice in any way, this one is definitely check this out. It's really good, and I really just dug it a lot. And it was sort of, because I didn't really know anything about the story until I saw the film, so just watching it as a viewer with no knowledge whatsoever about it, it was just really interesting to see where the story would go, how it would all play out, and I was just riveted from beginning to end. So, and I definitely recommend everyone to check it out. So that's Dinosaur 13, great documentary, and definitely, so far, again, 2 great films in a row. So this is going pretty good for me so far. But yeah, so that's the end of this first edition of my MIFF video reviews. Keep a lookout very soon for the second edition, in which I'll be talking about more documentaries. This time I'll be talking about Mike Myers' directorial debut, Super Mesh, The Legend of Chef Gordon, and Mark Hartley's third and final film in his exploitation documentary trilogy, Electric Boogaloo, the wild untold story of Canon film. So keep a lookout for that, and I'll see you guys later. See you, everyone.